top three ways to invest in real estate. There are three simple ways that people talk about. Oh, do we need to get this camera reversed? Can you guys see it, or is it backwards? Is it backwards? See, it looks like it's backwards. Of course it's backwards. Close. All right. Trying to get y'all backward. Thank you for being here. Give me a thumbs up for how smooth this is going. Hopefully you guys appreciate it. If you are just watching, you know how usually my content goes, but we're having a little bit of trouble with. Is it backwards? Let me know if it's backwards if you guys can see it. Can you guys see this, or is it backwards for you or just for me? Probably just for you.
That's good.
Good. We're good. Awesome. All right. So this is going to be weird for me to look at, but there's three ways to invest in real estate. The first, second, and third. As we get going, let me know how many lives you've been on. If this is your first live with me, right? Number one. Is if this is your not backwards. Nice. All right. So this is your first live with me, right? Number one. If your second, your third, your fourth, however many of my lives you've been on, let me know in the chat box. I'm going to talk about three main ways to invest in real estate without using any of your own money. So give this video a like. I would appreciate it. There is not many likes yet because we're off to a rough start. I'm in a brand new building, a brand new studio, a brand new everything. So we're just kind of figuring that all right now. I think we're about to, or the top one, I think. See how that does it. There you go. Look at that. I think we'll just go with that. So there are three main ways to invest in real estate. The first is wholesaling. Now, as we go on, I'll introduce myself. My name is Sam. I'm a real estate investor. I own a house buying company that flips 250 houses a year. We're going to give away some free training in a minute. But for now, we flipped 252 houses last year. I also own a $26 million rental portfolio I bought without using any of my own money. So what I'm talking about, I kind of know a little bit about. All right. So wholesaling, we do 175 plus a year. Rentals, I own a $26 million rental portfolio that I bought without using any of my own money. And the last thing that most people know about is flipping. Give this video a like. I would appreciate that very much. We had a little bit of a rough start, but as I said, this will be good content, I promise. So let me know where you're from in the chat box if you have not. And which one do you guys want to talk about most, guys and gals? Would you rather talk about wholesaling, rentals, or flipping? We flip 75 to 100 a year. So we got wholesaling, we got rentals, and we got flipping. These are the main three ways that people invest in real estate without using any of their own money. So, you know, give me that like and let me know where you're from. You don't need any 4 out of 5 1. So a lot of new people on the live. So that is awesome. This is a live that I've done. I go live on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. Literally, I've probably gone over like 200 or 300 times. So I do this a lot. It's a great way to interact and give you live, up-to-date content. So most people would want to know about investing in real estate, either want to know about wholesaling or rentals. Wholesaling is great because you don't need money or credit to do it. Rentals, you do need money and credit, but it can be somebody else's money or somebody else's credit. So you don't have to have a ton of money and a ton of credit to really make an impact. But if you want to get my free training about this, DM me on Instagram. Next week, this video room will be very much close to being done, and this will be a lot cleaner. But I'd rather go live and give you kind of some rough content now than worry about, I'd rather just give you good content, honestly, is what I'd rather do. So there you go. All right, I'd rather just give you good content than not give you content, or give you content than worry about the details of it. So wholesaling, rentals, and flipping, give me a vote. If you want to talk about wholesaling, give me a 1. If you want to talk about rentals, give me a 2. If you want to talk about flipping, give me a 3. All right, 1, 2, and 3. Whatever you want to talk about, we will talk about here. So give me your votes. I'm seeing a lot of 1s coming in, more votes. If you voted, you got to hit that like button. If you voted, you got to hit that like button. All right. So most people want to start about wholesaling. If we have time, I will talk about wholesaling and I will talk about rentals as well, if we have time to talk about both. All right, so let's get into wholesaling. So wholesaling is great. The beautiful thing about wholesaling is whether you want to become a, whether you want to, just do rentals or you want to fix and flip, you need to learn how to wholesale, okay? Learning how to wholesale will help you with everything, because wholesaling is basically finding discounted properties and then selling them before you close. I'll get that here in a second. So if you want to own rentals, you're going to want to find discounted properties, right? Thumbs up. If you want to flip, you want to find discounted properties, right? I would assume no matter what your exit strategy, you want to find deeply discounted properties. And that's what wholesaling is. So even if you didn't vote for wholesaling, wholesaling is very important for you to learn. All right. So even if you didn't even vote for it, this is a great thing to learn about. Again, appreciate the likes. DM me on Instagram if you want my free training on buying rental properties. But let's just get rock with this for now. So wholesaling is the first thing. So who knows what wholesaling is? Give me a thumbs up if you know what wholesaling is. Thumbs down if you do not. It's usually kind of a mixed bag of, thank you for all the likes. I appreciate that very much. It's usually a mixed bag. Some people know what wholesaling is. Some people don't. But I'll explain what it is here quickly and kind of talk about the benefits of it. So wholesaling is great because you don't need any money or credit to do it. You don't need any money or credit to wholesale. It helps to have money. It helps to have credit, but you do not need money or credit to wholesale. So it sounds like most people on here do know what it is. Think positive. Thank you. So let's walk through how the wholesaling works, because you don't need any money or credit. So thank you for everything. Share this live with anybody you know interested in real estate investing, and DM me on Instagram if you want my free training. So wholesaling. Wholesaling is living in the transaction. Let's break down wholesaling to its core, and then we will get to rentals if you want. So real estate investing, deep down in the core of real estate investing, no matter what you're doing, this is what you're doing. I think you will all agree. So you are taking a distressed property, sad face, and you are fixing it up and you're making it nice and either selling it or renting it, and then you're making money on it. Can I get everybody to agree, say I agree, or thumbs up, that that's what wholesaling, or that's what real estate investing is at its core, is distressed property, fixed up, make nice, and then sell or rent for money. That's what investing is. However, when you are wholesaling, you are just living inside the transaction. Hence, you don't need any money or credit to do it properly. Thank you for all the likes. If you haven't, please hit that up. So let's walk through an example of it. Living in the transaction, what the heck is Sam even talking about, right? So here we go. Wholesaling, here's what you do. You get a distressed property under contract. Well, so let's say you went to a home seller. We'll talk about how to find deals. And if you want a free trial at a lead source, I'll give that to you as well. If you haven't figured this out yet, I have thousands of hours of free content on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. And even Getter now, I just got on Getter. So if you're on Getter, not Gettr, so go follow me there. But I have thousands of hours of free content, and I'm giving away free stuff. So I'm not asking for anything. I'm growing a brand right now, trying to do my best to help you guys learn and gals learn. So back to this. So you get a distressed property. And if you want a distress-free lead, a lead source, a free trial to a lead source, DM me on Instagram for that. Just say lead source, DM me there, and DM me for the free training too. All right, so $150,000. Let's say you went to a distressed seller through sources we'll talk about later, and you found a house that the seller's willing to sell for $150,000. Now it needs work and it needs fixed up, but you get it under contract to purchase for $150,000. So on day one, you get it under contract, and then the contract states on day 45 you're going to close and sell it. Everybody with me so far, give me a thumbs up. You say, Mr. and Mrs. Home Seller of a distressed property, I'm going to sell your house, or I'm going to buy your house for $150,000. We're going to close in 45 days, just like any other contract, right? And again, along those lines, just like any other contract, there's a contingency that you're going to want in there if you don't have the money to close on this, because I said you didn't need any of your own money, right? So there's a contingency that you're going to put in there, okay? And that contingency is going to be, a 2-week contingency, either financial contingency or a, or a financial contingency, or potentially even a, inspection contingency. So you're going to give 2 weeks. So you have a 14-day contingency. In the first 2 weeks, you have 14 days to back out of the contract. The seller's going to know about it. It's not going to be a surprise. But on day 14, if you haven't sold the property yet, then you exercise that contingency, hence no risk and no money. So what you do in those first 2 weeks is you shop the property to other real estate investors and landlords and flippers, whatever it looks like. You shop the property to them, because they're going to want to buy it because you got it under contract at a deep enough price, and are going to mark it up and sell a little bit. Usually on real estate investing, investments or contracts, and most people think real estate goes like buy, close, make money. This, you buy, make money, then close. So you got it under contract, and then you sell it. You sell it for $175 on day 10. So you buy it for $150, you sell for $175 on day 10. On day 45, the person that you sold the property to the real estate investor is going to pay $175,000. The person who you bought the house from gets paid $150,000. How much do you get paid in this example? How much do you get paid in this example? Throw it in the chat box if you don't, or if you know. So you're going to get paid $25,000 for not doing anything. That's probably the national average for a wholesale fee, honestly. Yes, you're not going to go tomorrow and find this discounted property. Yes, it takes time to develop relationships with other people that will bring you this property. Yes, it takes potentially money on marketing. But if you get a distressed property under contract, you do not have to close. You can wholesale it and make money on it. It's legal in every state. Certain states you have to double close or use an agent, but either way, you'd never have to close on a real estate transaction ever if you don't want to, and you can still make money. It's called wholesaling real estate. You're middlemaning, you're middlewoming it, and you're getting in the middle. So you got paid $25,000 and you didn't fix it up and you didn't close on it. For those of you that didn't know what wholesaling is, does that kind of make sense? Thumbs up. Give me a like if that makes sense. So that's wholesaling real estate. We do that 175 to 200 times a year. There's a ton of different ways you can find leads, driving for dollars. DM me for a free trial on that. That you can look at lists of people that have distressed properties. There's websites you can go on, apps, DM me if you want information for that, all on Instagram. So that is that. Now, my favorite thing to talk about, my favorite thing is rentals. I own $26 million worth of rentals, and I haven't used any of my own money to buy any of that. So that's pretty crazy. I haven't used any of my own money to buy $26 million worth of rentals, and that's what we're going to walk through here. So if that interests you, again, give me some interaction in the chat. I'd appreciate it. But there's 3 steps to buying rentals without using any of your own money. That $26 million that I bought and owned, I haven't used any of my own money to do that. So there's 3 simple, but not easy. There's a difference between simple and easy. There's 3 simple steps that comes along with this. And yes, one of the steps is the BRRRRs, but that's not everything. So there's 3 things that you can or need to learn to invest in real estate. Again, double tap that screen if you're watching on IG or Tiki. DM me on Instagram if you want that free training. I got my YouTube up there, which I'm focused on this one. So I got TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram up. My main focus here in the top screen that I keep looking at is YouTube. So if you want me to look directly at you, head over to my YouTube. If you're okay with some side angles of me that aren't the prettiest, you can stay where you're at. All right. So rentals, there's 3 things that you need to do to buy rental properties using other people's money. The very first thing is you need to understand debt. You need to understand how to leverage debt and how to use other people's money. Obviously, no one's going to just give you properties for free. So if you are going to buy properties, you're going to have to use other people's money to do it because no one just gives you property. So debt is the very first way you got to understand it, which I'm going to talk about. The second step is you need to implement and take action the process that I'm going to talk about that many of you know about. And then the last thing you need to do is scale. Because I don't think anyone on here watching wants to just have 2 rentals and retire when they're 65. I think most of you on here watching want to own 25, 50 properties, retire in the next 5 to 10 years, become a multimillionaire, and be able to do whatever the F you want, whenever the F you want. If that's what you want, I want to see some thumbs up. So that's what I'm going to teach you: debt, implement, and scale. That is, nobody else teaches it how I teach it. I know a bunch of the other quote unquote gurus, and I hate that word, but it is what it is. I know a lot of them. None of them teach it how I teach it. So rentals, I guess I did have to erase that, but here are the 3 steps. The 3 steps to owning rentals. Apparently I can't have my fucking sleeve like that. All right, here we go. So rentals, here are the first step is debt. Now let's talk about debt. Most people on here think debt is bad. If you think debt is bad, then write the word bad. If you think debt is good, write the word good. All right. Debt can be bad and it can be good. So let's go over some examples of good debt. Good debt and bad debt. Can somebody give me some examples of some good debt and some bad debt? Throw that in the chat box. Again, DM me on Instagram if you want my free lead sources or free trials to software to buy to get discounted or to get distressed people. or distressed houses. People are distressed too, I guess. Drive for dollars free trial. And if you want my free training, DM me on Instagram, all for that. If you do, come back here. Don't just leave me. Assets are good debt. Yep, I see assets are good debt. You know, assets that produce cash and grow in value. Bad debt is your car, your house, credit card debt. Things, if you go into debt, meaning you borrow other people's money, whether it's on a credit card or at a bank, you borrow other people's money to go into debt to buy something that does not produce cash and does not go up in value, then that's bad debt. But if you buy assets or businesses, you know, or real estate, if that business, asset, or real estate goes up in value over time and produces cash, then it is good debt. Bad debt goes down in value over time and does not produce cash. Does that make sense? The difference in good debt and bad debt. Does that kind of make sense to everybody? I would, you know, thumbs up. It's hard for me to read the text, obviously, on everything. Does that kind of make sense to you all? Student loans is bad debt for sure. I guess you can get a job with it, but it's bad debt. Nice, Mike. College is bad debt. All right, so there you go. So that college isn't a bad debt necessarily, especially if you get a scholarship or something. I'm not like an anti-college guy. I went to college. I learned a lot, had a lot of fun, but it's not for everybody. I'm definitely not one of those guys that college is for everybody. All right, so we're not done with debt though, because this is the most important thing I can teach you today on this, 20, 25-minute live, however long this is going to be. All right, so debt is good and bad. Now let's lean into good debt. How do you think you can create wealth if you don't come from money? I didn't come from money. Not very many people do, but a lot of people are wealthy. Like I think 86% of millionaires are self-made. So 14% inherit it, but the other 86%, where do they get it? Any thoughts? How do you create wealth if you don't come from money? Not crypto. I like crypto. I'm a fan of crypto, but you have to have money to invest in crypto. If you have an extra 10 grand and you invest in crypto this year, it's probably back to 10 grand now, but in 5 years, I bet it's going to be worth 200 grand. Now that's not wealth though. That's 200 grand. That's awesome, but that's not wealth in my opinion. Stocks, again, even if your stock doubles, your 10 grand is going to be worth, 20 grand. So wealth, actual wealth, passive income, generational type income, the only way to do it, in my opinion, is to go into debt buying real estate. There's no other way to do it unless you're going to start a new business or create an app or do something funky that I don't have the brain capacity to do. So you need to go into debt to buy assets to produce cash and grow in value. The best asset to produce cash and grow in value in the history of anything, in recorded history, is real estate. So you borrow money from a person, place, thing, doesn't really matter at this point, from an adjective. You borrow money, not an adjective. What is the word? A pronoun? I don't know. Anyways, you borrow money from somebody, something, some source, and you buy real estate with it. That real estate produces cash. You take some of that cash and you put it in your pocket. I'm drawing an arrow to my pocket. The rest of that cash you take, and eventually, it's more complicated, takes time, you pay off that person who lent you the money. Then your cash flow doubles. You have double the cash flow going in your pocket, and that asset went up in value, and you don't owe anybody any money. That's the simplified version that talks about debt on there, okay? Hey, what's going on, Beard? What's going on, Oscar? What's going on, everybody? Just saying hey to Tiki. Got Insta there, got YouTube there. Appreciate you all. I go live on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram all the time, so make sure you're following me at SamFasterFreedom, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. If you want to get smarter, I guess the best way to do it. If you want to get smarter, follow me. All right, here we go. So that is debt, okay? Now, I usually kind of go into what my debt is, but we're not going to do that right now. I do that all the time. I'll maybe do that next week. Next week, this live is going to go much smoother. So no hate, and don't crush me for, even on Tiki, IG, and YouTube, this was a mess of a live. So I need to get a little more full time. All right, here we go. So let's erase that. So that is debt. All right. The next step, however, the next step is step 2. We talked about is the implement step. Now, who has heard of what we're going to talk about here? Who has heard of the BRRRR method? It stands for buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and scale. If you want to take your IG, give me some double taps. I'd appreciate it. Share this live, whatever platform you're on. Share this live. I'd appreciate it. Talking about, creating wealth through real estate. Kind of a catchphrase I'm playing around with is I hope you utilize real estate to create wealth on your terms, or create financial freedom on your terms, something along those lines we're working on, because that's kind of in essence what I try to do on here. So a lot of you have heard of buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat. If you're paying attention at all, which hopefully you are, you know that's not an R, so it can't stand for repeat. It stands for buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and scale. Buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and scale. All right. Again, double tap that screen. If you're watching on TikTok or IG, I'd appreciate sharing this live wherever you're at. All right. So this is the method that I've used to buy $26 million worth of real estate, $5 million in escrow. Just got a sneak peek at a $10 million apartment complex today. I don't know if I can pull that off, but if Luke and I can pull that off, that'd be another $15 million in real estate. So we'd be well over $40 million, all using this method, all without using any of our own money. So let's talk about how that works. But let's break it down to a simple example. This is a real life example of one of my latest rental properties. It's getting like 6-7 months old at this point, but the numbers are simple and make sense and are real. I'd rather not make up numbers. I'd rather give you real numbers. So thumbs up. Let's get rocking. You're all going to be following my TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. You're all going to be sharing this live, and hopefully you're all going to be DMing me on Instagram for my free training. All right. Buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and scale. So here's a simple real life example. Recently, I bought a distressed house. I bought a distressed house for $100,000. Don't get caught up on that price point. It works to higher price points. Double taps, thank you. Likes, thank you. And I put $50,000 into it. Buy, rehab. Pretty simple so far right now. So I have $150,000 in the house. I use my private lender, Steve. This is Steve. He lent me $150,000. I knew what it was going to cost to buy and fix it up. So Steve lent me $150,000. You can find Steve's in your market. DM me Instagram if you want to know how to find them for the free training as well. But private lenders is what he is. There's hard money lenders out there too. If you busted your tail for the next 2 months, you'll find a good hard or private money lender, guaranteed. Most people just go through the phone one time or think they don't know anybody. So that's you. Probably no point in even watching this, but if you're willing to put in some effort, you can do it. So what I did was I took a distressed property, bought it at a discount with Steve's money, and then I fixed it up. So let's make this sad house happy. So now I have a nice house that produces cash. Get where I'm going? So the next step is get the house rented. This house is rented for $1,800 a month. I did like a 3-minute tickie on this the other day, and it's doing pretty well. A couple 100,000 views, because not many people go to TikTok to watch streaming videos. So this is a nice longer example. Hence, Instagram and YouTube are good for long form content. All right, buy, rehab, rent. Up to this point, I think you're all hopefully with me. Thumbs up if you're with me on all 3 platforms, please. Borrowed money, $150,000 from Steve. Bought a house, fixed it up, made it nice, got it rented. Now that's all pretty simple, I think. This is not. This is the refinance step. This step is a little bit more challenging. This step is a little bit harder, but that's okay. I promise anybody on here can do it and figure it out. But let's dig into it. So you take your rented, fixed up property, must be rented and must be fixed up to a small local bank, and they will write you a check for up to 80% of the appraised value, meaning whatever the property appraises for, they will write you a check for up to 80% of that. DM me on Instagram if you want my free training. All right, they will write you a check for 80% of that. This house appraised for $200,000. So what is 80% of $200,000? Me, Jeremy. Hey, Sam, thank you. Got to grow. Awesome. Thanks, Jeremy, for being here. Appreciate it. Thanks for thumbs up. So what is 80% of 200,000? Anybody? Oh, yep. 80% is 160. So they wrote me a check for $160,000. Guess what I did with that check? I'll get to why the bank wrote the check. They do it all day, every day. That's how they stay in business. Why did they write, or what did I do with that $160,000 check? Any guesses? I took it and I paid back Steve. Notice arrow going this way, arrow going that way. So Steve made $10,000 and he didn't do anything except lend me money. So he lent me $150. I bought a house, fixed it up, got it rented, wrote him a check back for $160. Now, I don't know if you can see it, but that's a smiley face. He's happy. The house is happy. Everybody's happy. This burrs is a win, 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 win. So he's happy, but he's gone. He's got his money back plus interest. I don't owe Steve a dime. I still own a nice house. I'm still collecting cash flow. Now, I do owe the bank $160,000, but I owe them that in the form of a mortgage. All right? I owe them that in the form of a mortgage. Now, that mortgage gets paid by the rent plus all other owning expenses plus cash flow. So what just happened was I bought a rental property, which happened what it was. I just bought a rental property that has 40 grand in equity without using any of my own money. It positively cash flows every single month. Over time, it goes up in value. Over time, the mortgage is paid down by the tenant. I collect cash flow the entire way, and you can literally scale and do this as many times as you want. Literally unlimited times you can do this. Now, you should have a little more to get into, but we had a late, rough start. So if you want to know what I think the real estate market is going to do in 2022, I have a nice long video on my YouTube. Check it out right now. Go to my YouTube. It's a video on what I think the market's going to do in 2022, backed up by data, backed up by talking to people around the country, backed up to my experience. I know I'm very confident what the market's going to do in 2022. If you want to know what it's going to do in 2022, head to my YouTube and learn about it there. DM me on Instagram if you want my free training. Appreciate your patience. I will be going live next Wednesday at 2 o'clock. This will all be buttoned up. The screen will be good. You'll be able to see me, be able to hear me. The background will be good. I promise it's going to blow your mind. That's what she said. So DM me on Instagram if you want my free training. Have a good rest of your day. Sorry about that. All right, what's up?